Raiders are holding training camp. Now, the Raiders, I have to get all my Raider monologues in because, who knows? Who knows how this is going to go? Probably not great. Well, that is where SoCal, where the Raiders are holding training camp as they prepare for the upcoming NFL regular season, and they're one of a handful of teams that has our interest. Now, the reason they have our interest is because they don't have a starting quarterback. There's a quarterback drama-o-rama going on with the Raiders on who is going to be the starter as they prepare here. It's wide open, legit wide open here. The top pass catcher for the Raiders, who's still there, even though he wants to play for the Jets, has chimed in. If you didn't hear, Raider wideout Davante Adams saying that he's still getting comfortable with both Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, the two guys who are duking it out. What a contest this is. He said, quote, "I got my antennas up for everything," Davante Adams said regarding the quarterback battle, if you will. Adams then boldly compared his relationship. This is my favorite part. So Davante Adams comparing his relationship with O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell, and Gardner Minshew to the one he had all those years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers back in the salad days of that team, and saying that it wasn't just about the reps, talking about the relationship and the communication and watching film and all this stuff. So let us discuss the question: how do you explain Davante Adams seemingly comparing Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell to Aaron Rodgers? So I've got Selena Gomez, Catwalk, and House of Horrors. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a nice night's sleep, which I haven't gotten in a few days. I don't normally sleep that well anyway. It was a hectic few days. So, Davante Adams is working here. He's working extra to fill the content machine. And for that, we are grateful. We are. I appreciate guys like Davante Adams that do my job, make my job easier, so it's not that hard. He's going above and beyond the Call of Duty on this one, and not quite up to the dial-a-quote status for Davante Adams, but when you come out and are comparing Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, say what you want about Rodgers, going to the Hall of Fame, and Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, that's a bit much. So we know what Adams is doing. Davante Adams, as a distant relative of Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus, Davante Adams is humming bars. He's pulled out an old Selena Gomez song, "Kill 'Em with Kindness." He is just killing them with kindness, smothering both of them in praise. A bathtub of praise is what he's doing. Now, nevertheless, Davante Adams, who if the Jets called up and made an offer the Raiders would accept, would say hallelujah and go off and play for Aaron Rodgers. But Davante Adams knows the recipe is the same. We all know the recipe is the same. The names are different, but the core ingredients to make the dish are the same. That the quarterback watches the film, check. The quarterback communicates with the player, check, right? That you have open dialogue, all of that, right? When the dust settles. Now, our vote, and we're never wrong about these things, our vote goes to the man that likes to wear jorts. That's who should be the starting quarterback for the Raiders. Now, I'll tell you right now, if the Raiders go that direction with Gardner Minshew, they are going to be a wild card team in the AFC. Oh, my God, you can't say that. What's wrong with you? You can't. I'm telling you. Gardner Minshew, pound for pound, should be starting in Vegas. He should be. Right? And they supposedly have a pretty good defense there. They think they're going to have a top 5 defense, the Raiders. And just Gardner Minshew will suck for a couple games. He'll be really good for a couple games, but he'll be pretty average for most of the games. And that's all you need. That's all you need. And remember, last year, the Raiders' big win was against the Chiefs in a game Aiden O'Connell started in. But if I remember correctly, they didn't even throw a forward pass in the second half of that game. But you have Davante Adams until you get rid of him. And they're all hyped up about Brock Bowers, the tight end they got out of Georgia in the draft. So there are some playmakers allegedly there. Now, page 2, we now pivot to the Raiders Alumni Association and a black eye for Chucky Boy. Jon Gruden. Did you see this over the weekend? Jon Gruden spotted at Chiefs camp. Okay, so fine. He's there hanging out. But what was he wearing? He was decked out from head to toe with Kansas City Chief merchandise. He had the merch on. He had the red and the yellow. Red and yellow, had all that on. From top to bottom there, out there playing grab ass with the other coaches on Kansas City. And this, of course, created a visceral reaction. Oh, my, I can't believe Jon Gruden would do that. Why would Jon Gruden do that? Oh, my God. From Raider Nation, the faux outrage department. So Chucky Boy was in bed with the enemy. Of course, not the enemy right now because he didn't work for the Raiders anymore. In fact, he's suing the NFL. So what is your viewpoint on Jon Gruden being photographed, videoed, wearing Kansas City Chiefs merchandise there at training camp? So it did look awkward. It looked odd. I will admit that. I'm not a Raider fan or anything like that, but having known Jon Gruden, I know he coached in Tampa Bay and whatnot, but this guy oozing out propaganda about the Raiders, and there was Jon Gruden wearing Kansas City Chiefs colors on the sidelines. It did seem like it was some kind of mind hack, optical illusion, as I said. Seeing Gruden out there and on the catwalk doing a pirouette as he's wearing his enemy colors, or what used to be enemy colors there. Understandable, though, if you wanted to puke in your mouth, this whole situation. Gruden, persona non grata in NFL coaching circles as far as being a head coach. He'll likely never be a head coach again, and not welcome with the Raiders. He was collateral damage in a very bizarre hit job. And I remember Brent Musburger said a professional hit job, not the usual Goombas, as Brent Musburger said when that went down. They went to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times to take out Jon Gruden with that email dump. And but this is bigger than a rivalry. We know how this works here. Jon Gruden and Andy Reid are besties. They go way back to a common bond that they share. You go back to the Green Bay Packers and Mike Holmgren's coaching staff in the mid to late 90s, and they were all together there, a band of upstart coaches trying to make their way in the NFL. And so there is a connection. There's a kinship between Andy Reid and Jon Gruden, which likely is why Gruden ended up out there, or he's just bored. He was doing stuff with the Saints last year, and he probably will do some more stuff with them this year. Now, the last word here. So we go now to the retirement home. Several of you wanted me to barf in my mouth because you sent me a photograph that made me want to do that. My only conclusion is that that's why you sent it to me. It involves a former NFL quarterback, Alex Smith. Now, you might remember 6 years ago, Alex Smith shattered into little pieces, his tibia and fibula. Snap, crackle, pop. Gone. See you later. Now, somehow he came back and played in the NFL. He was playing for the Washington football team at the time. I don't know if they were called the Redskins then or not, but that's the way he was playing. And despite the incident occurring 6 years ago, randomly, Alex Smith decided, I want to send that out. I want to send a photo out of my leg. I want the world to see my leg. And so he sent out a picture of his shattered leg, which was put back together with glue and some duct tape, and they put it back together, and it, of course, went viral. So let us discuss. When you first saw the leg of Alex Smith, his mangled, mutilated leg, what did you think? All right, so this is like a Halloween House of Horrors type situation. That was my first thought. I was like, whoa, dude, how can he even walk on that? And the other thing is, some things should be kept private. You don't need to show the world that. No need to scare children. You don't have to do that. But it really is nightmare fuel. It's nightmare juice is what it is. And this guy mutilated from what? Because he's a gladiator? Barbarism? Back in the day when he was playing Washington here. The fact that he's able to stand up, though, and walk around is wild. And that he came back to play in the NFL. That leg is bad to the bone, literally. There's hardly any bone there.